would say to older adults, seniors, and their families, I would say you're not alone and it's okay to be scared. Do it anyway, right? This is what needs to happen to live their best life or my best life or my parents' best life, whatever it
Mhm.
is. Making that decision is the hardest part. Once you can really wrap your head around that, the rest is kind of downhill from there. Easy, not in a bad way.
Mhm. Yes.
Easier process of just going through the things to get someone there.
You're listening to Hearts of Excellence, brought to you by Majestic Care, where real stories from long-term care come to life. We are sitting down today with two leaders that we know and love dearly in our senior living space, Shannon Ammerman and Sarah Davis. Shannon, with years of experience in assisted living and memory care, has helped shape multi-state communities across the country. And I can't wait to dive into more of your background and expertise. And Sarah, on the other hand, is an expert in building high-performing sales teams and has spent over 13 years developing strategies that help families make some of life's toughest decisions. So together, the dynamic duo, they bring a deep understanding of what it takes to create truly memorable, life-affirming experiences for seniors and their families. Thank you both for being here with us today. Is this your...
having us?
Yes.
Thank you, Chelsey.
Yes. Is this your first podcast?
Yes.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I love it. Well, I'm excited for the conversation. Let's just kick us off. Shannon, you started as a CNA, and
Yes.
now you are the VP of Senior Living at Majestic Care, overseeing multiple states. Shannon, can you take us back to the first moment you realized this work was your calling and what drew you in?
Sure. So, I originally started when I was in college. My dad told me I had to work in a factory because I wanted to go do something fun, work at the tanning salon, the mall, whatever. So he said, "No, you're going to go work in the factory. You need to learn what work is, and if you don't do well in college, this is what you're going to be doing." He was trying to scare me. It worked. I was working 12-hour shifts. It was okay. But my friend was working as a CNA, and she said, "I want you to come work with me." And I said, "Dad, can I go work with Sarah?" I know lots of Sarahs. But I said, "Can I go work with Sarah as a CNA?" And he said, "Yes." So I went through the course, and I loved it. I had so much fun when went back to Purdue. I went and got a job in activities. Actually, I was an activities assistant, and I was thinking, well, I hope I can keep this job. Every Saturday morning I had to be there at 9 a.m. And I'm just like, I don't know if this is going to, work out with my social schedule, etc. I loved that job so much. It was just the connections. And I just found I was able to have fun with these folks that a lot of people were like, "Oh, why are you working with seniors?" And I was like, "They're great."
Yeah.
So actually it was just an amazing experience, and I can't ever imagine myself doing anything else.
They filled up your social calendar.
Yeah,
Yeah, they did.
They did. They filled my glass, my social calendar, everything. Yes, yes.
That's incredible.
Yes.
I did not know that. So the factory, really quick, like what type of factory was that he want you to work at?
We did I had to test the windows. Like, there were these huge
Wow.
windows, and I'm 5 feet tall, so I had to like stack them up. But I had to do like some sort of test to make sure the defroster was working. But yeah, it was fine. It was fun, and I can definitely say I did that now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it taps into your operational experience. Sometimes you have to
Yes,
test
yes.
temperatures for things. and keep
Yes,
learning.
yeah.
That's
Sure.
amazing. Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
Sarah, you've been in sales for over 13 years, but it seems you found your true purpose in senior living. Can you tell us about a specific story or moment that made you shift your focus to helping families with the major life transitions?
Yes, absolutely. So earlier in my career, I had done property management. So I worked for multifamily apartment communities. So I found myself really enjoying that. I did that for 8 years before senior living, where I was helping people in transitions in life. A lot lot of times when you're going into an apartment, right? Maybe it's your first time moving out on your own, or you're getting married, or you're transitioning jobs. There's big changes going on. And I always felt so much passion for helping the people in those transitions and hearing their stories and helping them through that. Then when I had the opportunity to go to an independent living senior company, it just was fulfilling as well, even more fulfilling because it was older adults and it was seniors who maybe were lonely. They were going through something too. It was different than multifamily senior or housing, but they also needed care and they may have been alone, completely alone in their homes. And they were also going through a major life transition. And I really found that to be very fulfilling and just natural for me to connect with seniors and with their families and really just providing that guidance. The major life transitions, it's not easy to decide to move into a community setting, maybe at an older age when you have been living at home alone, but just learning how those things can benefit someone. Talking about social life and social calendars, we all need that, whether we're 9 or 99 or 19 or anywhere in between. So I think that's what really helped shape me into that calling. And from there, I was able to do different settings of sales and senior living and wouldn't change it at all and want to keep doing it forever.
What's fascinating, when you think about my wife and I have only had to live in an apartment one time when we were building a house.
Yeah.
That's a whole different experience. But again, there was a beginning and an end.
Yes.
So you think about our seniors, though, that's a hard decision. I think about if my wife and I, today is actually our 35th wedding anniversary.
Anniversary.
So 35 years. So, but I can't imagine, her and I living, we've been married 35 years. And then if you even take that and go further in our lives, having to make that decision to leave our home and go to a smaller place, a community, and what is that going to be like? And it's kind of like going back to school.
Yeah.
Like, who's all going to be there? Are you going to fit in? Because like right now we're in our own little community, our own home with our kids, but now you walk into this community where your meals will be provided. It's just so different. And what a great opportunity to help someone transition through that and take that fear away. Because that must be very scary for our seniors to have to leave a home and go into an assisted living or an independent living to give up that freedom that they feel they have.
And Paul, you talked about kind of a beginning and an end. And so, some sales can be considered transactional, right?
Yeah.
And there's transactions, there's paperwork, there's things that have to be done in senior living, but it's about relationships and it's more about taking away that fear.
Yeah.
It's about trust. It's about those building relationships among the staff, the people who are going to be caring, those great CNAs. So in sales, the purpose is to help them to be attracted to maybe the community and share with them the features, but then those relationships are what are the selling factors, if you will, helping to remove those fear, removing those barriers to get a greater understanding and trust of what happens in a senior living community.
It's interesting you brought up a third point because I always think about senior living, there's food.
Yeah.
Food's very important.
Yes.
Social activities is very important. But the third one you brought up I never thought about is the relationship side.
Yes.
Is making those connections. And I'll go back to, it's just like anything. It's like whether it's church, whether it's, a lot of universities say if they can get the kids connected into the university when they're living on campus, the likelihood of them staying and finishing is exponentially goes up statistically. So you think about it, how do you build those connections and how do people feel connected when they move into one of our senior livings, which again, I didn't even think about that till you just brought it up.
And even during the tour process, someone coming in to take that tour, and that's why it's really important for them to come in and take the tour, is feeling that connectedness to the staff and to the other residents that live there as well. So sometimes people think, we talked about like, am I going to fit in and all of that. So you've got the peers there, and then you also have the staff, the staff sometimes really connect too. And those can be friends too of our residents. So it's a great opportunity to get that connection and social life.
And I love the approach that you two share. That's something really beautiful to watch. Just the thinking outside the box, right? Like all the ideas both of you have had. And it's just really, really cool. Like at one time, you're talking about bringing kittens in, right? Like an adoption.
Yeah.
How cool is that, right? Like having those seniors be a part of, just because their environment looks different, their opportunities and their joy should not look, and purpose shouldn't look different too. So I know we'll get into more of that, but kudos to you two, because I think that's so important in our industry to think, okay, this is the next chapter of their life, and it's a really great chapter, and how can we create that joy for them? So, okay, Sarah and Shannon, tell us something our listeners may not know about senior living.
I think back to exactly what you were saying. So good food, expectation, good care, expectation, but it's the lifestyle, it's those connections that have to be there, have to be present for them to want to be there long term. It's just like, I mean, we both just started new jobs. You have to have those connections to want to stay, so you feel like you're part of something bigger. And, taking care of the kittens, or being some gentlemen go in and they like to do the paint touch ups. It's just whatever makes them feel like that is their community. And that's what's going to be really important, or that's what is really important to our residents.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And it can seem scary, but it's not as scary. Once you come in, it's very
No.
comfortable.
Right.
And people may have a vision in their mind, or they think certain things, right? But again, come out taking the tours, taking a look around, connecting, seeing that senior living is really very comfortable. And it's simply an apartment. It's an apartment designed for those who may need a little support, or just don't want to be lonely in their own home, or just don't want to take care of their own home anymore. Have that support of a friendly maintenance man to come fix something for you. We talked about temperatures and checking things,
Yes.
right? Maybe my air isn't blowing out right. Well, someone on site, that's their job, to come into the room and check that out for you. And it's all included. So that's the other thing too. It just really helps. It's like an all-inclusive vacation every day, that they can evolve as well. You have to not need care at all, and then they may evolve into needing care. So we provide both.
I've been thinking about, because I do live in an apartment currently, because I come down here to Indiana. I live in Michigan, but I come to Indiana Monday through Thursday. So I live in an apartment. And it's interesting as you talk about connections. And my wife said, we were talking about something, and she said something about the apartment. I said, well, it's just an apartment, because I have no connections to what I do see in the apartment is they brought technology in. So now on my phone, there's an app, and I can go in and it shows all the social things going on, or they do surveys, they do all those different things on my phone. Now I don't participate because, again, it's
Go home for the
I
weekend.
go home where my family is, where my home is. But again, you can see where they're trying to build that community, that connection, even the amenities they offer. So how do you guys see technology? Because again, back in the day, I'm an old school paper, pencil, typewriter guy, advancing in for our seniors to really help them feel that connection.
I mean, I already see texting. I mean, even like on the sales side, right? We are communicating through text messages. We're creating graphics to send out visual things and text messages. Alexas, seniors I know are using Alexas in their apartment. There's funny on social media. There's a lot of funny. They're talking to them and asking them all kinds of
So
stuff. But it's fun. Yeah, it's cute. And it's a way to interact. FaceTiming, our Google voice meetings, however you do them with the grandkids, things like that. And a staff can help someone with that if they need that. But those connections as well, just using the technology, I think, just that growth that we're going to see in the population, that they're more savvy.
Facebook, social media. They love seeing their photos on Facebook. They can't wait. If you take their picture and you tell them it's going to be on social media, they're like, when is that going to be posted? They're like asking. So yes.
Yes.
Wow. So do you think, like, as we see, our community starting to have like a community app that has more things on it, more, they can,
Portal, they can see
yeah,
I think
activities, they can see their world within the four walls of their assisted living, but they can see what's going on, or somehow maybe connecting to other people within their communities, or again, just seeing how to advance technology.
Yeah, like their own little Facebook page, even. It could be like the community's page or something.
Yeah. Whether it's church, whether it was college, whether it's even at the apartment, it's like, wow, there is a lot of connecting points here.
Yeah, and it's even connecting, even though you're seeing it, you're still connecting. You're seeing it. You know
Correct.
that it's there, and you can use it however you need to use that, whether you do or you don't, but it's there for you. And that's very comforting and reassuring to anybody.
Alrighty, I love this question. So, as you both have worked across multiple markets and levels of care, was there a challenge early on that made you question your path? And second part to the question, how did you overcome it? And how did that experience shape the way you approach your work today?
That's easy. at the end of life. And I think when you lose your first resident, it's I mean, it can
Yeah.
be devastating, especially when you are a GM or you're running a community. I mean, you see their first moments, they walk in, they're afraid, you get them, they're acclimated, they're busy, they're part of your life. And you spend more time at work than you do at home. So I absolutely remember, I'm probably going to start crying. But I absolutely
okay.
remember the first time and it was terrible. But I think what is important and what has helped me is we just have, again, we have to create that experience for those folks. We know them. We know when things start to slow down. We see those signs. So
Yeah.
get an extra layer of support in to help them, to help with the families, to help with the staff, the team, because again, this is different than going to a hospital or skilled nursing. I mean, this is day in, day out, seeing these people again, they're part of your lives. So I think just having that support in for the resident and everyone is just, that has been what I guess kind of, yeah, definitely. I was like, what am I doing? This is terrible. Then I was like, no, we have to turn this into a positive experience because unfortunately, death is part of life. So
Yeah.
That's right.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. For me, I think it would just, not having all the answers. When I went from multifamily housing into senior living, it was very intimidating to me because I thought I had to know everything medical. I didn't know anything they were going to come with, tell me about. And you don't have to have all the answers. You learn it. You learn it quickly. I remember in my first independent living, I downloaded a medical app, a medical dictionary is what it was. And if I didn't know something, I would look it up and I would learn. And that is also where, in the great beauty of senior living, there's teams around you.
Yeah.
So there are the CNAs, there's the nurses, there are the directors of the departments that are there for all of those specific things. So creating those, team environments with all the different levels of expertise is not something someone can just get at home. So just not being afraid to not have the answers, relying on the team around you, figuring it out, and being genuinely interested in what is going on in that person's world when they come to us to learn how to make it better for them in any way we can. Say yes and figure out the rest as long as it's safe and
Yes.
all of that.
Absolutely.
So that would be what I would say. Just you don't have to have all the answers.
No.
Just always relentlessly try to figure it out and be genuinely
and do the right
helpful.
thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
the right thing. Yep.
Absolutely. I love that. Very beautiful. Shannon, can you tell us about a time you helped a resident fulfill a personal goal or even a dream that they wanted, right? That you made come true, that went beyond their care?
It was actually here in Carmel, and this lady, we had the same birthday. So she and I were always buddies. We're both very petite, and she would say, "How are you so tan?" And I would say, "Well, it's a tan in a can." And I mean, we just would have so much fun. So she had this little poodle that she would walk around, and her dog died. And she was devastated.
Oh my
She
gosh.
was like, "My daughter will not let me get another dog." And I was like, "What?" So, I helped her find another dog.
That's
Of course I
precious.
did, right? Yes, of course I
That's
did.
adorable.
But yes,
I love that.
yes.
And how did she receive that?
Oh my gosh, she was thrilled. And then actually, great, but not so great, sad story. She did end up passing. I mean, I no longer work for that company anymore. And the building, actually, they reached out to me when she passed and said, what a great experience she had had. And, she was with her dog when she passed. And yeah, it was just, we were just buddies. So anyway.
That's precious.
Yes.
That's very heartwarming.
Yes.
What about you, Sarah?
Yes, I just think about times where I remember back this one family, when they came in to take the tour, we're first getting to know each other. The mom was very just sad and down. You could just see like the gray all over her. She was just sad and didn't really want to talk or answer questions. She was very, very sad, didn't want to be there. But she did end up moving in. And about a week later, the family came in and they came to my office and they were like, "Have you seen her? She looks different. She looks better." And I was like,
Wonderful.
"Oh my gosh." And you realize that she did. And I just remember she was dressed and she was more sitting up properly and she had makeup on, her hair was done. And I will never forget that moment and how many times that has happened over, like after that was pointed out to me. It is so true. If we could get a photo of them, like, before they move in and then, like, a week later,
Yes.
they're different
It's a
because
great
they
idea.
have a purpose. They even have to just get up of a morning to say hello to someone. Someone might be coming by to provide meds or check on them or whatever it is, and they have a reason to get up and get dressed, maybe get out of their pajamas, come down to the dining room, have
Mhm.
breakfast with friends, come to exercise, anything. It just they blossom is what I always say. They really truly blossom into a whole new person once they come in and get acclimated and just find that purpose.
Yeah.
You know what's fascinating is you're telling that story. So back in the day when I was a therapist, I worked for an organization that I was able to do skilled nursing, subacute rehab, and then we opened our own home health. So I was able to follow one of my patients from the skilled nursing to home health, which was assisted living. He moved back to his assisted living, and the importance of that purpose. Because I remember when he was in the skilled nursing, he was really independent. Like there was no need for him to be there medically. He was stable. He could get up, walk down to the dining room, like all the things that we would say nursing home care, he really didn't need. So he was appropriate to go back. But what I saw was he lost his purpose for whatever reason. And I remember being, again, early in my career as a therapist, and I'm like, this guy that I treated, and he'd get up, he'd walk down to the dining room. He was very social, very just lively, moved back to his assisted living. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, he's declining. He won't get up out of his chair. So again, connections, purpose, what's the value that he brings, or what brings value to his life to get him back up moving? Because so obviously we missed the marks somewhere in that transition because he wasn't thriving like we were hoping he would. So it's interesting as you bring that up because again, I think it's so important, those connections and all of that, because that's going to give them a purpose to get up in the morning, go down and have breakfast, have lunch, whatever those things are.
Yeah, and that makes me think about our calendars too that we've
Right.
talked about is, having those resident committee meetings where we talk about what do they like, what do they want to see. We don't have to just have the standard activities on a calendar. We want them to be exciting and engaging. Like, are we having kittens to foster? Are we having the Boy Scouts come in and helping us build planter boxes? Are we having yoga come in, a yoga studio come in with a little sound thing? Things that we might want to do. People in senior living communities are older adults. They're adults just like we are.
Right. We
Just-
had to find
they
the
have-
personality of the community to figure out what appeals to them.
So
Absolutely.
maybe this person, he didn't feel like he wanted to go to a bingo today or
Right.
noodle ball. He wanted to go to something different. Maybe he wants to talk about baseball or football or something different. So finding those things out, to Shannon's point, that personality of a community, we want that to be robust and personalized, not just this is just what we do. We want it to be very engaging and exciting and things that people want to do.
Yeah. Not
You
just
are.
going through the motions.
Right.
Yeah.
And do our assessments and tools. So when I think about it, and I think this was before Shannon, you had started, I had gone to a 2-day seminar or something. I can't remember, but they were talking about when they do the assessment, it helps pull that data forward. So then you can start seeing what people like.
Sure.
So as you're doing the assessment, it's helping almost build your social calendars. So it's really meeting the needs of the community versus me thinking, okay, everybody's going to want bingo, everybody's going to want this, that, and the other, when I could be completely missing the mark because the whole community's pulse is something completely different. So do we do anything like that yet, or are we planning to?
So we have started that.
Yeah.
We've not brought it 100% to the finish line yet.
Sure.
But to your point, we just had to figure out what the personality is of the community and make sure that we're fulfilling their wishes and their needs. We go to Carmel, and we've been working on a commercial with Carmel and the residents there. Those residents are so busy; they barely have time for us.
Yeah.
They're like,
Yes.
we're booked. They're like,
Yeah.
Yes, they
Sorry,
are.
we're booked. Come back another day.
Yes.
we want to do it,
But that's what we want. We want them
Right.
to be
Yes.
so busy
I
and
love
so
it.
entertained all day long that
Yeah.
they have to fit us in, not vice versa.
Yeah.
Well, and that's our lives, right? So you want it to be no different than what I do at home. So I always think about at my house, I mean, today I could be just vegging. And well, if you came to our house on I'll pick what Saturday or whatever day, my wife's a big Tigers fan. So
There you go.
if the game's on, we're watching the game. So, but again, if I'm in a community, that would be important to us.
Sure.
Or it would be important to my wife if she was in a community to be able to watch those things or have those things. But if people didn't know, then obviously it could lead to isolation, socialization, those type of things where she may start decline because, again, those things aren't there
Right.
sparking her interest.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've been talking a lot about getting to know you,
Yeah.
surveys and questionnaires. We're talking about surveys, right? And just some questions to really get to know people more, and even our staff, each other, and including
Yeah.
our residents too. That will help guide that relationship too,
Right.
as far as teammates and everything could benefit from knowing more and knowing what someone likes and making those connections.
Absolutely. That's really cool. So, as we talk about the community personality per se, Majestic Care, as we all know, is significantly growing our senior living portfolio. I know we have the new Sagamore Hills coming up. We've got a grand opening coming. What can you tell us and our listeners about this exciting thing? We want to know all the deets, but only share what you can tell us. So we're very excited.
We're excited too.
Yes. Yeah. It's not going to be a grand opening like anyone's ever experienced, hopefully.
I love
so
it.
it's very important to us that we're bringing in the community to be part of this, because that's what we're all about as community. So we're joining forces with the local high school. We've got the a kitten fostering group coming in. We're going to be doing some on-site yoga classes, perhaps some Tai Chi. We're bringing in some of the latest technology, the vibration plates, red light therapy. So we've got all kinds of really fun and interactive components.
Wonderful.
And I do want to add that our sales director that we hired, and this just kind of fits in, loves Taylor Swift.
So fun.
So yes, so she has figured out how to incorporate the eras
Oh, how cool.
into senior living. So she's got some really great concepts that she's going to be
That's
introducing. So
awesome.
it kind of fits in with the kittens and all that good stuff.
And the live music.
Yes,
And the fact that it's
Cleveland. Yeah.
tons of community partnerships. We have been so excited. The team is so excited. They are just going out into the town, sharing the word that we are on the way, that we're coming. We've had a lot of great reception from the local community as well. Being excited about Sagamore Hills and Majestic Care opening the community again. They want to see inside that building. It's
Yes,
a
they
big
cannot
mystery
wait.
right now.
Yes.
Cannot wait, because it's been some years that it's been open. And so we're talking a lot about the renovations and how beautiful it is. And so we can't wait to welcome people in for that.
Mhm.
Yes,
very cool.
absolutely.
Yes.
So, do you mind telling our listeners where this is located, so that way if they're listening and they're looking for a new job or they know someone that needs care, where they can find this brand new, beautiful building?
Yes. Sure. Northfield, Ohio.
Awesome.
Yes.
It is going to be spectacular. I've seen a few photos of all of the beautiful designs and everything, and you're definitely not going to want to miss it. It's stunning. So.
I think this is our first building that's using our design palette.
Yep.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
sure
Our
is.
design standard. Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So this will be the first building that's kind of between the fabrics, the furniture, the paint colors, and
Yes.
all that. So
Yes.
that's very exciting.
It's going to be
It's beautiful without the furniture, so I can't wait
Yes.
to see what the furniture
Yeah,
brings.
I
Yes.
mean, I've seen photos. I haven't been there to tour, but I've seen photos, and it is a beautiful location.
Absolutely.
And
Very
it's
much.
June 9th. Is that the grand opening? So everyone that's listening to this, if you're in the area in Ohio, June 9th, or if you're not, we would love to have you hitch a ride with one of us from Westfield here.
Some buses.
Yes,
Majestic
that's
Care.
right. I can take a few people with me. We're going. It's going to be a lot of fun, and you guys should be really proud of yourselves for all the hard work that's gone into it. So those residents are very, very lucky. All righty. Both of you have dedicated your careers to improving the senior living experience, as we've been talking a lot about. Where do you think the future of senior living is headed?
I think that, again, kind of what Sarah's alluded to, we have to evolve as our population evolves. So we have to be innovative and forward thinking and be able to bring and introduce concepts that the people that are moving into our communities want to see. And whether that be, again, I know talking about the kitty cats, like the cats that we've got, I've had a community in the past that had the chickens, like what gardens, making salsa, just whatever people want to do in their homes, we want them to be able to bring in and incorporate that into their new apartments, their new home too, because that's what's going to make them feel connected.
Yes, and that's the great honor that we have as Majestic Care, as Paul was mentioning and Shannon just did, right? It's the things we all want to do, it's the things they want to do. And then if they just need a little support to do it, that's what we're here for. So they don't have to stop wanting to do those things or doing those things because it may just take a little bit of support, whether that's from friends in the community or the staff or whatnot. That they can continue to live and do that. That's the beauty of moving into a community is they have that support.
If you listen to like NCAL, the National Center for Assisted Living, or the American Healthcare Association, which is ACA. So they're the national associations that we belong to. But I mean, the seniors population is going to be booming
Yes, it is.
significantly. And, and again, if I go back to just my generation being, paper, pencil, typewriters, the Dewey Decimal System, like the old school, to now, my kids, they wouldn't even know what Dewey Decimal is, and they're 21, well, soon to be 21 and 25. So again, their world is so different. So how do we continue to evolve and continue to evolve with, and there's so many generations that cross over different thresholds, that how do we continue to meet all of the changes? Because what I was brought up on is different than what my kids were brought up on. That was different than what someone of an older generation was brought up on. But how do we continue to fill those gaps with our tools, resources, technology, and help people through that journey? Because it is quite expansive.
It is.
Podcast or what to do or how to get to it or listen to it. That's even different than the Facebook, the Instagram, the TikTok, all of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point. If there is anything else you would want our listeners to hear today, what would that be?
I think assisted living is amazing. And I really, to be really honest, I cannot wait to go to assisted living. You have one bill to pay. You're surrounded by your friends 24/7. All you do is you go to events, you get to eat good food, you get to go to good parties, you get to go on trips. I mean, who wouldn't want to go live in an assisted living as far as I'm concerned? It's kind of like going back to college.
It is.
Having
That is
very
a
little
great
responsibility.
point.
Yes, yes.
You get up when you want. You
Yes.
fill your social calendar with what you want to do
Yes.
or you don't want to do.
That's right.
Right. It's all, yes. Because I feel like our lives now, it's like, I've got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do this. When you go to assisted living, it's like, I want to do this. I don't want to do this.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
It does get to be where you get to fill up your calendar for how you want it to look.
Yes.
As long as we, as the leadership team, we put the right things in place.
Yes.
They can fill it up or they don't have to.
Right. And that's
right.
why we're here.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes.
I would say to older adults, seniors, and their families, I would say you're not alone. And it's okay to be scared. Do it anyway, right? When we talk to our sales teams and when that phone rings for the first time at a senior living or someone fills out that form, they've been thinking about that for a while, right? Just think about that in your own life. How long might it take you to actually pick up the phone and talk to someone about moving your loved one, right? Or moving yourself out of a home that you love, the things that you have. So I would just say if there's fear, just kind of overcome that, have those first conversations, come out and see a community, connect with the teams, and you're not alone. And there's so much guidance available. That's something else I think I've learned working with families and everyone is that they don't realize what they don't know. You don't know what you don't know, right?
Right.
So just sharing, there are so many resources and valuable information out there that an assisted living community, Majestic Care employees can share and help guide in that process. And I just want to talk about too, kind of that sigh of relief. A lot of times that I identify with when working with a family and helping them through the emotional times, it's like, oh, okay, they can have help with this. This happens there. This can be done. It's only one bill, and I don't have to wake up at this time. No, it's just
I don't have
just
to
an
clean my
apartment.
apartment.
You don't even have to clean your
Yes.
apartment. You have someone to clean.
Right there. Sold.
I could go on for
Forward.
days. Yes.
So it is scary for sure. Again, but it's
Change is always
it's
scary.
exactly,
Yes.
but it's such a good change and kind of getting to that top of the mountain with it. And just that's the hardest part is
Mhm.
kind of thinking about it, making that decision that this is what needs to happen to live their best life or my best life or my parents' best life, whatever it
Mhm.
is. Making that decision is the hardest part. Once you can really wrap your head around that, the rest is kind of downhill from there. Easy, not in a bad way.
Mhm.
Yes.
Easier process of just going through the things to get someone there. You can bring your belongings from your home. You're not, not giving certain furniture to you.
Mhm.
You can make it your home from top to bottom, wall to wall. You can all of that. So,
Surround yourself with all of your treasures.
all of
That's
your
right.
damn treasures.
Yes.
And the positive is we do typically have a model room in our buildings so that, again, for someone that's not, I'm space challenged. So if you walk in a room, I sometimes need to see things in it to understand what to do. So again, but we have that. So if somebody says, I don't know, well, they can walk in and see, oh, okay, a queen size bed will fit
Mhm.
in here, or king or whatever, or, oh, my couch will fit in here. And maybe, yeah, I can't bring everything, but okay, I can bring in the pieces that mean the most to me
Yeah.
and they will fit
Exactly.
because I can see it by a model room that we have set up.
You got it.
Cool.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, I'm going to ask the last question. This is something we ask to all of our guests, and you can both answer it individually. What does excellence mean to you?
I think excellence just means like you're walking away and kind of like Sarah just said, a sigh of relief. Like you're happy you've been able to sigh that sigh of relief. You just feel good. I think it's that simple.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think excellence is all of that. And I would say ownership, right? Owning something. So nothing's not our job in senior living.
Nothing.
Nothing. It is my responsibility if I walk past and someone has a need to either take care of that if I'm able or ask the therapist to please come help with this person. So just ownership and just responsibility to care for the people that we get to care for. That's excellence. And again, relentlessly pursuing that. Not that's not an option. It's going above and beyond to make sure someone's cared for.
What a good note to end on. Anything else, Paul?
No, I'm excited. I am so excited to have a senior living division. I always say this part of our organization always sat on the corner of our desk, and now it's taken on a life and becoming its own freestanding senior living and meeting the need of the communities that they serve. So I think it's phenomenal.
Thank you.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Shannon and Sarah, for being our guests today on the Hearts of Excellence podcast. Thank you for listening to Hearts of Excellence. Shannon and Sarah's stories remind us that senior living is more than just providing care. It's about creating experiences, building relationships, and offering families peace of mind during difficult transitions. To learn more about working at Majestic Care, visit majesticare.com/contact us. Or if you or a loved one needs long-term care, senior living, or memory care, reach out to us and discover how we can support your next chapter. Thank you and have a wonderful day. Thanks for listening to Hearts of Excellence. To learn more about becoming a care team member or how we can support your loved ones, visit majesticcare.com. And don't forget to follow and share, because every story deserves to be heard.